let's talk about it. So to me, it's just interesting how Fuji in the last couple of years, they've been able to release very specific cameras. Lately, the X-T5, X-T50, X106, XM5, all these cameras are pretty awesome. Now, I want to talk about the X-T5 versus the X-T50. Both cameras are excellent, but I would say for a professional who wants to have a tactile feedback on their experience when taking the photo, I think the X-T5 is that. I feel like whoever's coming from also from a film camera, having an X-T5 would feel more comfortable and more familiar, more like, you've used it before. In the contrary, for the X-T50, the X-T50, I still think it's a very well put together camera, very powerful for what it is. But one thing to note is that professionals who are used to that tactile feedback and responsiveness and quickness, going to the X-T50, you kind of lack some of it. We still have the control dial on our aperture ring, right? We have control of our aperture on some lenses. And then we have our shutter speed, but the ISO is missing. And so not being able to get there quickly to adjust and have the result that you're looking for like that, I think that's what is the major difference between the X-T5 and the X-T50. Because other than that, the film simulation dial that they've put there is very good for beginners and for anybody that enjoys that feeling of changing colors and how the image looks. Having that quickness there, I think that's pretty cool. But I still think the X-T50 is an excellent camera. And so, yeah, those cameras are great. And then SX20, excellent camera for, I hate to use the term vlogging, but people who want to record themselves in a documentary style, the SX20 fits that realm. It has an articulating screen, which always helps just to monitor composition, exposure, or even to know if you're recording or not of self. I think the SX20 does an excellent job at that. In terms of the XM5 that just recently came out, I think that camera is even, it's mind-blowing of how they thought it out, of this progression of point-and-shoot cameras. And they've managed to make a point-and-shoot camera with an interchangeable lens system to allow you to choose any lens in their lineup. I think that's really cool. Yes, one of the things that kind of defeats the purpose of this small design is that if we compare it to other point-and-shoot cameras, they have the lens built in, which it's cool because when you turn them off, they retract to the small size, which that retraction into a smaller size, I think that is ideal for a point-and-shoot camera. So the XM5 being that small but without a retractable lens is the drawback of its size. But in terms of usability as a professional or somebody who's into changing perspective by the optics, then the XM5 is a great choice. I mean, I was considering it myself simply because I own the X Pro 3. So I own the X Pro 3 and this camera is awesome. Recently it just broke, but we got it fixed-ish. There's still a problem that in mechanical shutter it won't shoot. When I'm in mechanical shutter, it'll just short. So I realized that if I change the mechanical shutter to electronic shutter, then there's no mechanical piece moving, which wouldn't short the camera. In short, boom. But yeah, the XM5 would be even smaller than this. That's why I was considering it. And even if I put this 23mm f2, it'll give this awesome, small, very point and shoot like system. Either way, I'm a person that shoots at, photographer that shoots at 23mm, equivalent to like a 35. It's my favorite focal length. But both the XM5 and the 23mm f2, I think it'd be a perfect combination, or even the 16mm 2.8. Some manual lenses like the Voigtlander 18mm. What are some other ones that would be great? Some of the Typoc lenses, the manual ones, I think those are great too. Ones that you can find, obviously the 18mm, I just saw it the other day at B&H that it was back in stock. Something else, the 27mm 2.8, that one's pretty hard to find. I've been looking myself at the website, and I can't seem to find one for myself. But XM5, 18mm, 16mm, 23mm, the primes, f2s, I think that would be a great combination for that XM5. But yeah, I think Fuji's onto something. Hopefully they come out also with an X Pro 4, simply because this kind of reminds me of the Leica M10, or the Leica M10D, or the Leica M11D, which simply is a camera that has no LCD screen on the back, so you can't really review your image. The reason why I like the X Pro 3 is because it gives you that functionality of both, of having a screen and not having a screen. It just hides away seamlessly. So for the X Pro 4, it'd be interesting if they did something like the M11D or the M10D, where they just don't have a screen whatsoever and push that uniqueness like Leica, where they can do it too, and I think it'd be interesting to see that. Also, seeing the X Pro 4, maybe not as a 4, but X Pro 5, because it seems like a constant kind of interesting thing how they skipped the XM5, they skipped the XT40. So for the Pro, I feel like they would skip the 4 also, and they just put X Pro 5 or V, which would make sense. We've seen that with that X100V. And have it in a Hasselblad, not the Hasselblad, in a almost like an X Pen, like the X, what was it? Hold on, I remember. It was the Fuji's version of the X Pen. TX1. So it'd be cool if they make an X Pro like that, like the TX1, I'm sorry, in that similar form factor. I think that'd be interesting to see. But yeah, I think that was it. If you guys have any questions or concerns about some of these Fuji cameras, shoot me a message. It'd be interesting to see what kind of debate we can create. And yeah, like, follow, subscribe to the channel. New videos coming soon. And stay sharp, keep that lens clean, vision clear, and happy photographing.